Hello buddy, Crow back again. I want to talk briefly about another game I got through Limited Run Games. I do have the physical copy of Aqua Kitty DX, Milk Mine Defender. Now, how can I not talk about this game? I didn't play it super long. I've played it for maybe 1 or 2 hours total, but this game is pretty much Defender with cats underwater. So how do I not talk about this? But very briefly, there are pretty much 2 different game modes to this. There's the regular kind of adventure game mode where you go from level to level, and there's an arcade game mode. But first I'll talk about the adventure mode. So in the adventure mode, you pick a level, you try to defend the milk mines for a certain number of waves of enemies, and then sometimes during some of the levels, there's a boss character that must be defeated before the level will end. So basically, you've got your milk mines that's usually manned by one kitty, and most of the enemies are just kind of flying by and shooting. But there's one type of enemy that will appear that will try to kidnap the cat with the milk mine. So depending on the level, there could be just one or multiple milk mines that need to be defended. And if you lose all the cats on that level, I believe the level ends. So basically, you're going around shooting until you see one of these guys show up on your map. In your you have a radar. It's pretty easy to read. And these creatures that will kidnap the kitties mining the milk will show up in a different color. I think it's red. So, and then if they do capture a cat, you'll hear this distinctive meow, and you'll go have to hunt down the enemy that's kidnapping the cat and try and destroy it before it exits the screen with the cat. Otherwise, you lose that cat for the remainder of the level. And, you know, it's a good thing to have all the cats anyway by the time the level ends, because you get bonus points for that. Now, this is a pretty fun game, but in later areas, I felt it was just getting too difficult. When playing the game, you do have a normal shot that when you hold the button down will shoot repeatedly. But if you hold the other fire button down, you have a turbo shot. Now, the turbo shot doesn't last all too long. In fact, you have to build up a power-up in order to make it last any longer. And when it runs out, you have to not use it at all in order for it to recharge. So part of the game strategy is knowing when or when not to use that turbo shot. There are power-ups you can get, and that's really the difference between the adventure mode and the arcade mode. In the adventure mode, there are these power-up creatures that kind of show up, and when you destroy them, they will leave a power-up, and you collect that power-up, and then you get that power-up for a limited amount of time. And I'm kind of disappointed that it is a limited amount of time, because I would actually prefer if that power-up stayed with you till the end of the level, because it seems like these power-ups don't last that long at all. Whereas in the arcade mode, these creatures that usually leave the power-ups leave these orbs, which actually moves your power-up meter at the bottom of the screen to select a different power-up, much like it does in Gradius. So you could actually choose what kind of power-up you want to have, but again, it doesn't last forever. Now granted, some of the power-ups you get in the arcade mode, like health, will stay with you until the end of the game, but in the adventure mode, the health is kind of just given to you between levels. But the real difference between the adventure mode and the arcade mode, other than the power-ups, is that the arcade mode will just keep going on forever until you actually die. And then when you die, we have to start again from the beginning. Whereas in adventure mode, you go from level, and if you fail a level, you could just go back and try that level again. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a very fun game. It does remind me of Defender, but I think the fact with the power-ups is kind of just a tease, because you get the power-up and it just doesn't last long. I found the game to be very difficult. I really had to keep pushing, and you know, some people might find that a good thing, but it can be kind of frustrating when you get these power-ups, and you really need these power-ups. At least I really needed the power-ups in the later levels, and they just didn't last too long, or I might find myself, you know, bumping into too many enemies just trying to get the power-ups and not lasting too long. I did get through at least 2/3 of the game on normal mode, and it just might be me not being very good at the game, but it was just getting very difficult for me to play and enjoy. There's a difference between enjoying the difficulty and just getting frustrated by the difficulty, and it was starting to cross that line into frustrating for me, so I kind of put down the game after a couple hours, and I really haven't gone back to it. I might go back to it in the future, but but the whole premise is hilarious. Just let's take Defender and throw kittens that go underwater to mine for milk, and that's your premise of the game. I'm never really given any sort of idea why these enemies are going against you or trying to kidnap the kittens. They could be aliens like Elf that just like to eat cats or something. I don't know, but anyway, I just thought I'd throw this video out there and put Aqua Kitty DX out there in the minds of you guys that may be interested in this game. It is a fairly cheap game. It looks like it's on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and on Steam, and it's a fairly cheap game for $7. Or you can wait for a sale, get it even cheaper. I say go for it. If you like Defender, you might like Aqua Kitty DX Milk Mine Defender. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.